Hello everyone, I actually just finished doing the weather at CW39 and I'm just chilling in the studio right now. Show just got done. Everyone bounces out real quick as soon as the show's done, so I have the whole studio to myself. This is actually behind the scenes. I'll actually show you the real studio. That's the real deal right there. But I'm just kind of chilling in the weather cave is what we call it. But I wanted to do a video before I left because I've been getting a lot of great questions from people on Instagram and I wanted to address them in a Q&A video. So in no particular order, but my assistant and I have been going through my messages, and whenever someone has a question, I figured the best way to address it was like so. All right, so the first question comes from Healing Herbivore. It's funny because, like, wow, how your mind works sometimes. I read Healing Herbivore and I was like, all right, the H is silent, but the H in herbivore is silent. I kind of jumped the gun there. Healing Herbivore is what I was gonna say. Healing Herbivore asked, what is the most nutritional diet in terms of fighting and preventing diseases? And being your name is Healing Herbivore, I think you know where I should be going with this, right? A plant-based diet. And I can tell by your name that you would support what I have to say here. So yes, I believe that God put fruits and vegetables and food on this earth for our bodies to heal. I believe that most cases we can heal with nutrition and lifestyle changes. It just depends on how serious you are about it, because sometimes to truly heal the body, it takes a lot of discipline and it takes a lot of work. So you have to decide, am I willing to put in that work? And sometimes it can be hard to find the right answers. Now, I'm not saying for every case that you can always heal with nutrition and lifestyle. But I do believe in most cases that you can, let's put it like this, you can definitely improve the situation, okay, to say the least. You can definitely improve it. So if you think about it, fruits and vegetables are loaded with micronutrients. What are micronutrients? They are vitamins and minerals. And I also believe that there's a big difference between just popping a multivitamin every day and getting a variety of fruits and vegetables. So something that I've really had to embrace to heal my body is that you need variety, because sometimes when you get in the fitness world, you just kind of end up eating the same things day after day. When you do your food prep, you prep the same things time after time. So what I recently started doing, like I would say over the last couple of years, that has really helped tremendously as far as healing is I've incorporated stir fries, organic vegetables with a variety of vegetables. So let me give you an example of what I might put in one of my stir fries. Garlic, I love garlic, and I do the real garlic cloves, and I just chop them myself. I believe as close to the real food as possible is best. So organic garlic cloves, everything's organic. I'm gonna stop saying organic, all right? Just know I mean organic, whatever I say. I will put in bok choy sometimes, collard greens. I sometimes put in dandelion root, which is super bitter. So usually what I do is I'll cook the dandelion root in coconut oil by itself, because it's like if I cook the dandelion root in with the other vegetables, it kind of like ruins the whole stir fry, and then the whole stir fry tastes like dandelion root. So I'm like, all right, let me get the dandelion root down, and now I'll enjoy the rest of my stir fry. But I love broccoli and cauliflower. You hear a lot of controversy with cruciferous vegetables, right? Like sometimes people are like, don't eat cruciferous vegetables, especially if you have thyroid conditions. But if they are cooked a little bit, lightly cooked, then you should be fine, okay? So I love broccoli, cauliflower, asparagus. It's hard to find that organic for some reason, but when I do, I always use it. Those are my favorites. Lots of greens, and I actually like using carrots. I've been using carrots a lot more lately. I used to be scared to eat carrots because they're higher in sugar than other vegetables, but honestly, each different fruit and vegetable has a different benefit, so I don't discriminate. I do it all now. But yes, a plant-based, and also something else that I've been doing more of is seeds lately. So seeds have a lot of health benefits and a lot of healing benefits as well. So like hemp seeds, flax seeds, sunflower seeds. I do tahini, which is sesame seeds. So seeds. With your protein, you want to make sure that you're getting good quality protein. And I used to eat tons of like just regular chicken. I didn't pay attention to the quality. Now, if it's not my butcher box chicken, I really don't like eating it because I know butcher box is coming from chickens that are fed a higher omega-3 with a flaxseed based diet, and they are actually fed insects as opposed to eating tons of grains and corn, which is inflammatory to the body. So with meats, wild caught fish, you want to make sure you're doing that. There are benefits to meats, but it depends on what you're talking about. And here, guys, I'm not a doctor, so this would be like if you have cancer or something, for example, you definitely want to be working with a doctor. Specifically, I would recommend a doctor with whatever disease it is that you have or health issue, a doctor that will help you to address how you can heal it with nutrition. I think that's super important. So I hope that answers that question. The next question, how to deal with bloating, the $1 million question, right? People have this question all the time. And so, first of all, if you are experiencing bloating, that is a sign that you are eating something that your body is sensitive to, okay? So this is actually a great question for me to answer. I have this issue a lot because of how sensitive my body is. My body became extremely sensitive right after I was done competing. So what you'll find is if you are someone who has been through a stressful situation in your life, think about it, and then you might find that your digestion isn't the same as it used to be. And a lot of times stress can throw off our digestion. And I'm not just talking about, okay, it throws it off for a day, but sometimes then when your stress is a chronic stress, meaning you have a constant stress in your life, sometimes it becomes a permanent issue where you have digestive issues. So something that's super common is something called leaky gut. It sounds crazy, but what it means is that, and most people have some degree of leaky gut, where the food that they eat leaches out of the intestinal wall. The intestinal wall becomes permeable, and foods that you eat leach out of the intestinal wall, and then they start to give you gas and bloating and digestion issues and all kinds of things that you don't like. So what you need to do is you need to start paying attention, see if you can pinpoint what foods are causing this. Now, this can be tricky because it can happen maybe 20 minutes to 30 minutes after you eat something, or it could happen up to a day or two after you eat something. So it's sometimes very difficult to know what food is it that's causing this issue. So here's what I have done, because it's not a fun issue to deal with, right? And so I don't know, but if you're like me, I want to know and I want to get it gone. And so what I did was I do bone broth fast from time to time, and I notice every time I'm on my bone broth fast, my digestion feels good. I don't feel the bloating. I don't feel inflammation. So what that tells me is there's something I'm eating, and I eat super healthy, so that tells me that there's something I'm eating that is causing this symptom. And so it could be sweet potatoes, it could be chicken, it could be like super healthy foods. It's just that your body has developed a sensitivity to them. Oh my gosh, isn't this so complicated, right? That healthy foods can actually be unhealthy for specific people. So what I've done was I decided to, I'm actually on the end of my bone broth fast right now, so I'm going to start gradually reintroducing foods. So when I'm on my bone broth fast, I'm eating lots of green vegetables, oils like olive oil, avocado, and coconut oil, and of course bone broth. And that's pretty much it. I eat some seeds, and those don't seem to cause an issue. So now as I gradually start adding foods back in, I'm gonna see if I can pinpoint. I'm gonna try to add in slowly. So today I might add in some sweet potatoes and try to keep it basic and see, is it the sweet potatoes, is it the bananas, like what is it? Because I eat the same foods every day. So gradually reintroducing foods back in, or if you really wanna get to the bottom of it, this is what I would recommend doing. I got a food sensitivity test ordered from my doctor. It cost me about $275 to order the test. But what you do is you prick your finger and you bleed on this paper. You put your blood on this paper and you mail it in. You do it all from home. And then you'll get your results in about 3 weeks. And it's going to give you a list of foods you're sensitive to. So if you eliminate those foods, you should feel that your digestion improves. Now, that is the best way to go about it, right? But if you are like, okay, I'm trying to live life and I might go out to eat and then I might get bloating or whatever, so what do you do in that case? So there are some things that are really good for kind of like the aftermath, right? It's like, okay, the damage is done, now what? If I go through a period of time where I'm noticing it a lot, then I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna do a 2-day bone broth fast where I do lots of bone broth, vegetables, and olive oil, and that will solve the problem right there. Or you could do something a little bit less drastic and a little bit more, just like, okay, just give me something now. Peppermint and ginger. So the real ginger root, it's super bitter, but if you get real ginger root and just like take a bite of it, really helps. Or if you do peppermint tea or ginger tea, that really helps people. Also, there's a spice called fennel. And fun fact, since I've discovered fennel, I actually really like seasoning my chicken with it because it makes my chicken taste like sausage. I guess they put fennel in sausage, and that's probably why. So anyway, fennel is also very good to help ease the digestion. And then last but not least is collagen. So collagen is in bone broth, and collagen helps to heal and seal the gut lining, which can reduce the gas and bloating, and this is more of like a permanent fix. So you can also get marine collagen powder. I just ordered some off Amazon. It's a very high quality marine collagen because I've heard a lot about people, if they incorporate 3 servings of collagen per day, of it really doing wonders for their hair, skin, nails, and healing their gut, which would then would help with the bloating issue. So there's that. We'll do 2 more questions. The next question comes, that question, by the way, came from PT26, so thank you for your question. The next question comes from Killer Mike 2345. All right, Killer Mike, what are legumes? So let me give you examples of legumes, and then I'm going to actually read to you the definition. So basically, examples would be like beans and peanuts. But it says here, I just want to read this so I don't give anyone any misinformation. It says, actually that doesn't even, okay, the official legumes definition is, quote, the fruit or seed of plants of the legume family, such as peas or beans used for food. But legumes basically include any fruits or seeds of plant in a specific family, which includes about 19,500 different species. So there's tons of examples of legumes, but beans, lentils, and peanuts are the most common ones. Now, legumes have a lot of controversy because the negatives that you'll hear about them is that, okay, they contain phytates and phytic acid and lectins. So what those things have been given a bad rep for is that they can disrupt digestion and they can prevent your body from fully absorbing all of the nutrition that the food has to offer. But with that being said, there's also a lot of health benefits to legumes as long as your body can tolerate it. So going back to the food sensitivity thing, if you feel after you eat beans like you just feel more gassy and bloated, then your body probably isn't a good candidate to be eating them. But a lot of people say they can eat them and they don't notice anything really either that day or the next day. Because remember, it's not just that day that you have to pay attention to, but it's the next day, or it's not just that hour, it could be for several days after that it impacts your digestion. So my recommendation is if your body can tolerate them, then I think beans can be very healthy. For example, in the Blue Zones book, Blue Zones are regions of the world where people live incredibly long, healthy lives. And in several of the Blue Zones, they eat a high bean and legume diet. So, I mean, that would indicate that beans and legumes do have health properties. I think it all comes down to moderation, because let's say you have like an excess of beans and legumes in your diet, then I think that some of the negatives of it could start to take over, versus if you get legumes as part of the variety in your diet, I think that is perfect. And remember, guys, because I think the question was specifically in regards to fat loss, so anytime you're eating something you're sensitive to, then it will impact your fat loss. So if you really want your body to look lean, you want to get out all the foods that you're sensitive to. So kind of those two questions kind of played hand in hand. Where did the rest of the questions go? Okay, so the last question comes from Crystal, but I'm trying to pronounce the second part of your Instagram name, and it's Crystal Fit, and then it's spelled Neerece. So Crystal Fit. I'm going to keep it at that, girl, so I don't butcher it on you. But Crystal, you're asking, what can I do to keep my energy up, being a wife and a mother, as well as taking care of yourself when it comes to keeping up with your workout and diet? Fabulous question. I think the first thing that I think of to answer your question and to help you out, Crystal, is the mindset. So if your mind is in the right place, then things become a lot easier. So you want to ask yourself, why are you doing what you're doing? Being you're a mom, a lot of times kids are the biggest motivator. So for you, you're going to be motivated to stay healthy because you want to be there for your kids, and you want to, see them have grandchildren, be there to play with, or your kids aren't going to have your kids will have grandchildren, right? But I'm talking about your kids will be your grandchildren, and you want to be there as healthy as you can, and be in their lives as much as you can. And so using that as your motivation, because we all have tough days. Every single person has tough days. And so on those tough days, you have to ask yourself, okay, why am I doing this? And let me just think about that, because that's going to help me to go to the gym today. That's going to help me to get my food prep in. So that was my second piece of advice, is you have to plan ahead. So Crystal, I would make like a non-negotiable for yourself that every week you have a food prep that takes place. I was gonna say a food prep day, but I don't call them food prep days because they should not take your whole day. And I think that scares people away. Your food prep can be very simple. In my Charge Up Challenge course, I have one of the lessons is how to food prep for 5 days in 15 minutes. And then I say, of course, you'll leave the food in the oven longer than that. I don't want you getting salmonella. But basically the time you're required to be in the kitchen working is about 15 minutes. And I go through that in my Charge Up Challenge course, but essentially what it is I throw things in the oven. I season them how I like them. So I season my chicken and my meats how I like them. I throw sweet potatoes in the oven. I throw spaghetti squash in the oven, season my broccoli and my vegetables with some garlic. Sometimes I'll make a stir fry. That would probably take a little longer than 15 minutes of prep if I'm adding the stir fry in. With the stir fry, it might take 25 minutes of prep. And then you just let the food cook and do its thing and set your timer, and then go back and check on it. And when it's done, I just throw it in the fridge, because you have to, especially as a busy mom, you have to have food ready for you, because it's those moments when the food is not ready for you, that's when you slip up. So I hope that helps you. And for all of y'all, I love that you're asking these questions, because I love educating people. And that's what I do in my Charge Up Challenge course. I take 12 weeks of your time, 1 hour each week, to educate you on how to make any health and fitness goal a reality, and not just a reality for that time, but then going forward for the rest of your life, you'll have the knowledge, because knowledge is power. And if you have the knowledge to do something, that's the first place that you need to start to actually make your dreams a reality. So I'll put a link to that course so y'all can get 2 weeks for free in the description right here. I'm launching my next group next week, so you can get in anytime, but people like to go through it as groups. So really, whenever you're listening to this, you can still get in. This course will always be going, but I do like big groups at one time. So my next big group is going to be launching sometime next week. So be on the lookout for that. And in the meantime, if anyone else has any questions, then you can comment them below or ask me on Instagram. My Instagram is @LindsayDayFitness. I'll put a link for that below as well. Have a wonderful rest of your day, guys. Thanks for the questions.